Writing is my gravity. It keeps me from floating off into space, from losing my focus on the world, from drifting off to a place to escape. Layer by layer, my writing has slowly reached the depth of who I am, keeping me centered and alive and constantly progressing through my English years. My freshman year is a layered earth. Before starting a large hole to the core of my writing experience as a freshman, I have the basic knowledge gathered since the first few years of English classes. These are the outermost layers of our planet, the layers of the atmosphere that need to be conquered before digging through the surface of the earth. The thermosphere is first grade, the year when your English teacher finally starts to teach you how to spell. You then learn the alphabet, passing through the mesosphere, learning how to pronounce letters, how to form basic words. But then you start building on more concepts. The stratosphere is when you start creating sentences that have different meanings. Over the years, you learn to write more complex sentences that have more meaning and depth to them. Diving deeper to the surface of the earth, you pass the troposphere, a place to know how to correct yourself and how to make changes and edits to your writing to make it better. This is the last layer before you hit the surface of the earth, before you begin to make your mark in history as who you are as a writer. Establishing your opinions as a way of writing for only yourself. This is what you will always refer back to. The surface deals with the depths of the sea and the heights of the mountains in the crust as you try to find a balance between formal and informal writing. Oceanic crust versus continental, you start to witness the differences between each type of writing, despite both constantly shifting and colliding in different areas of the world, as they rest upon the plates or the different types of writing styles. A constant flow of different research, persuasive, narrative, and informational writing. You dive deep into the mantle, using everything you have learned in your past experiences and combine them together. Flowing in the mantle are the convection currents to your success. Constantly fluctuating, it progresses, getting hotter and closer to your goal, but then your writing starts to rise, farther from your goal, until it cools down, back to where you started from. This vicious cycle is exactly what writers have to do to survive. From the F to the A, you change to become exactly where you want to be as a writer. Furthermore, shoveling yourself deeper into your quest to the core. At this point, you think you have learned everything. You think you have progressed to the farthest point in your writing. Well, I've learned that it never ends. Unswervingly, taking risks in essay, practicing writing with different tones, using voice and varying sentence structure. It gets you closer and closer to the center of who you really are as a writer. When I became a writer is a question answered quite similarly to how the earth was formed. It is simply uncertain. Was it when I first started to write sentences, or was it when I actually started taking risks in my writing? The starting and end points of writing is unclear when you are constantly growing as a writer, pushing the boundaries until those boundaries become a safety. Just like the earth, I am constantly being influenced and affected as a writer through exposure to different environments, the change in teachers. When you have someone as contemplative as Brock as your teacher to expose you to new aspects of what you can do with your writing, you will never pull back from saying what he really means. Brock is the weather to my earth, unrelenting and sometimes brutal. He finds a way to still let me be free to write, to learn, to experience, always giving me the encouragement needed to survive the most dramatic change in my writing experience. Freshman year, the merging of the atmosphere and the earth to create the masterpiece of the Protfolio. My main goal this year was finding ways to take risks in my writing, to make my writing stand out from not only other writers, but also from my own middle school writing days. I try to do this by working on deficiencies in my writing and making them efficiencies, writing better hooks and strengthening my voice, overall building upon aspects of my atmosphere that should have already been studied. Looking back at my very first essay this year, I laugh at how much my writing displayed that of a 5th grader. Finding grammatical errors and using horrific hooks, I discovered how terrible my introductions were. The essay that finally started to get better is my 3rd essay, The Right to Have a Special Event. By the end of the first quarter, I believed this essay to use great imagery and ethos, pathos, and logos, when in reality it is nothing compared to my quarter 4 persuasive essays, which incorporate research and other informational aspects. Consistently expanding on the subject areas of my new efficiencies, I see that I have unintentionally used my knowledge from quarter to quarter to use it in just about all of my writing, constantly adding on to my ideas throughout the year. By quarter 2, I made a deficiency of formal writing and efficiency through spending many dedicated hours of research on Purdue Owl to look up MLA format and how to structure a formal paper. Eventually, I had developed a successful essay concerning the change of power of women over time, with proper MLA structuring and formatting. Despite having done work on the subject matter already, when it came to quarter 4 and writing my large partner research paper, I discovered the work is never done, and there's always more to learn. By quarter 3, I had mastered one of the very goals I had established at the beginning of the year, finding a way to write informal essays fast and easy. I was proud of my essay called The Phrases of Common Misfortune, because although it may have been cynical, it used an informal tone all while adding a modern society twist to it. Using information I gathered from quarters 1 and 2 this quarter, I've found this deficiency to be the most beneficial in how I learned to write clear, concise essays that flowed well. The most informal you can get in writing is writing poetry. Our poetry unit in quarter 3 was my very favorite unit that has very much affected my informational writing. The most I have ever improved this year is in my informational writing. When we started writing informational, I was like, huh? Inform? Isn't that just a research essay? Little did I know that, quote, a research paper is informational, but informational isn't always research, end quote. Yeah, that helped me a lot. Thanks, Brock. I was ready to just go wing it and get it over with, but that did not get me anywhere. After receiving the rubric back with my grade, I wasn't surprised to find that I did not do so well. I used vague evidence to support my ideas, but even then, they were never impactful and reinforced not very insightful ideas. I never fully proved my point in any body paragraph, simply ranting on and on about each topic, repeating everything, only in rephrased words. After looking at some techniques from Purdue Owl, I found that using better vocabulary terms, combining sentences, and trying to see if every word in a sentence is absolutely necessary, I learned to write more effectively and not babble anymore in my writing. I had also used dull topics in this informational piece, awful development and terrible cohesion. My interpretation of informational was actually very appalling to me now. I had the chance to improve all of this in quarter 4 when I had written my very first movie review on the Hunger Games. I found that because it was a topic I was interested in, it was a compelling topic many of my readers could relate to as well. In another informational research paper I did on marijuana medical research, I found it to be an interesting topic with fun and controversial medical facts from reliable sites. I also found some common transitions that I can use to help the flow of my writing, but I have to say that was the most improved by our poetry unit. Informational writing was my greatest improvement this year and my longest drive of digging to the core of the earth. Writing pulls me to discover my inner feelings and thoughts. It reaches the very depths of my soul, centering in on what is most important in writing, and I should never lose focus of, the meaning of my words. This year has been such a dramatic step for me in improving my writing. I have dug deeper than ever before, effectively finding the truth to what I write, and making my mark as a successful writer, a successful planet, with one focus: to improve.